So I'm contemplating why so many bass fishermen don't like crankbaits. I really don't get it, but I've been thinking about it. I'm going to talk about it a little bit today. Because crankbait fishing is pretty old school, and it's one of my favorite things to do. And it's one of I've already caught my first fish today, third cast on a crankbait. So we're going to talk about that. Old school stuff. I'm Dale Verts. Let's talk some crankbait fishing and why you guys don't like them. Hey y'all, this is why you periodically pull your props off. Troll motor and big prop. Because that braided line is a killer. Luckily it ain't been on there very long. I haven't pulled this for a little bit, but look at that. That's why you do this. Oh yeah. Will really wreck your day. So a crankbait a lot. Now right now I'm pitching a worm back up this bank. I just came down with a crankbait. I caught one just following up with the worm, because the crankbait's not always the magic. It's not always the best medicine, but I'm just blown away by how many people don't like them or just flat don't throw them. It's amazing to me, and I'm looking for y'all's input. I own 1,000 of them, y'all. Seriously. Yeah, it's too many colors, too many sizes, whatever. But they're on my rods 12 months out of the year, and they get used pretty heavily 12 months out of the year. It's the bait I started with today looking for fish, because not only is it great to catch them, it's tremendous at finding them. I'm fishing pretty hard right now. I may fish a tournament next week, so I'm going to fish a little while and then try to pull off in a nice quiet spot and talk more about the crankbait and what so many folks have against them, because I really, well, I may get some of it. We'll talk about it. So what is it that makes folks not like crankbaits? Randy Blockett says that he gets less views when he does a video about crankbait fishing than any other video he does. And not just Randy. I'm talking about guys that I know personally to this day, guys I've fished with in the past, that intense dislikes for crankbaits. I don't understand. Well, maybe. I've been thinking about it. Crankbaits are hard work. You can just chunk them and wind them, but generally, the more you work a crankbait, the more effort you put into the crankbait, the better your results are going to be. I've been burning one today. Some. Because the water's still 80 degrees and you burn them. It's work. Crank, 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 stop. Crank, 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 stop. You throw them pretty hard sometimes. It's work. And some people just don't like to work that hard catching bass. Another thing about these crankbaits. See all them little pointy things on there? Look at all them little pointy things. Those are called sharp barbs. Crankbaits tend to get hung up. Sometimes a lot. There's a certain skill set it takes to fish a crankbait, especially a deeper one, through brush and cover, and that's where the fish live, right? I used to think I was pretty good at that. But you know what? One time I could work that crankbait like a beagle through a brush pile after a bunny rabbit. Anymore, I'm not quite as good as I used to be, but I'm not afraid to throw a crankbait in the stumps, in the stick-ups, deep or shallow, boat docks. I'm not afraid to. And it's a lot of work to do that, and you're going to lose the things, and the daggum crankbaits are expensive. I'm not one of those guys going to spend $20 on a bait. I ain't going to do it. I make a bunch of them myself because of that reason. But you got to be ready to lose them, and some people don't like losing baits like that. I get that, kind of, a little bit. No, not when it comes to catching bass. I don't get it at all. Another thing about crankbaits, to ensure success with them, you gotta have sharp hooks. I mean, razor sharp hooks, because you lose a lot of bass on a crankbait. Probably percentage-wise, from the time you hook a bass to the time you land one, more bass come off on a crankbait than probably any other lure. We've learned over the years to use softer rods, crankbait poles, I got 3 of them out on the deck right now that give to the bait, and you got to learn to give to those fish. Man, those fish in June that jump after the spawn that first few weeks, they jump. Amazing how many times you stick a fish, comes up, jumps, throws the bait. I don't care how good your hooks are, it's just a percentage thing. But you have to look at the fact that you're getting more bites to start with. You're getting the bites. The only way to put fish in a boat or in your hand is to get the bites to start with. Crankbaits do that. But a lot of folks don't like to lose fish, and they won't take time to sharpen hooks. I'll guarantee you, I've got 3 crankbaits here today, all square bills. I'm fishing pretty shallow. Or even when I'm fishing deep, I'm fishing shallow on the deep, like this bluff right here. I'll guarantee you 2 of those 3 need a hook sharpened. I fished with them enough, banged them around enough in just a couple hours fishing. They need to be resharpened. Now, when I'm practicing for a tournament, I don't care as much. But if I'm in a tournament, I've either got to touch those hooks up, replace those hooks, or put another bait on after an hour or 2 fishing, and people don't want to do that. I don't want to say y'all are lazy. I don't like the YouTube videos where they say things about people. You're just screwing this up. That ain't cool. But to land fish on a crankbait, or any bait with treble hooks especially, any bait with hooks, period, but they have to be sharp. And banging these square bills around the rocks and the docks and throwing them through cables and all the stuff I've done today, those hooks get rounded off. And it costs you fish. So if you're losing fish on a crankbait, and that's one of the reasons you don't like a crankbait, you got to think about those hooks, y'all. That's the number one thing. And the right hooks, big enough hooks, good enough design hooks. I can do a video on that too, and I probably won't because I'm not the right guy to do it. Yep, I know people personally says I don't like crankbaits. I don't throw crankbaits. I don't know anybody that says I don't own a crankbait. Man, y'all, a crankbait is a 12-month, the purest 12-month bait there is. A jig, next, spinnerbait fairly close. But I don't have a spinnerbait tied on today. Now, it's getting close to spinnerbait time, and maybe I ought to have one tied on. Before the day's over, I may tie a big old Magnum willow leaf on. But crankbaits, I've got 1, 2, 3 out, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 crankbait rods in the boat. 3 of them on the deck. I got 2 with big old DD22s. It's probably not going to happen now. Not where I'm fishing. The water's pretty dirty. I got one in the deep little end, which probably ought to be out. Except the fish I'm catching, the fish I found so far ain't those kind of fish. I ain't found very many, but I found some good ones. Maybe. I just jinxed myself. I'm not catching them on a square bill. But I found them with square bill. That makes sense. Crankbaits are awesome fish finding baits. That 1/4 ounce or a 1/3 ounce small 1.5 crankbait will catch you more bass than almost anything 12 months out of the year. It'll catch you more bass. Maybe little bass, but it helps find bass. That's the whole trick. We now to find our fish. We can't find them. We can't catch them. I don't like crankbaits. So crankbaits can be expensive, like so many baits can. They can be hung up and lost easy. Okay. A lot of work to fish them sometimes. To do it right, burying retrieves, you got to think it out. Get them through brush piles. You got to work it out in your head. You can't be lazy about it. Okay. I mentioned they cost a lot of money. Yeah, they cost a lot of money. I don't know. I've guided fishermen where the crankbait was the over and over. The crankbait was not just the #1 bait to catch fish, but the #1 bait to catch good fish. Oh, could we find some plastic wormfish or something? I'd say plastic wormfish. That's a whole nother skill level, right? I don't know. To me, crankbait's easier. Guiding once on Truman, and it's a 1/2 ounce rattle trap. Oh, it could be a 4-pound bass and a 14-pound hybrid the next cast, or a 6-pound walleye. And it was every white bass, crop, everything was biting that rattle trap. And I had 2 days of trips that nobody wanted to do it. I'd have them throwing something, I'd throw rattle trap, I'd fill the boat up. They just wouldn't hardly do it. Rattle traps sucked back then, especially. Hard to land fish on them. I don't remember offhand in a Pro-Am tournament that I ever fished where my partner had a crankbait tied on at least start the day. I have never been outfished in my boat by somebody throwing a crankbait. I've been outfished by other things, partners, you know, and amateur guys. Yeah, I've been outfished by the amateurs. It happens to everybody. I don't remember ever having a pro-am tournament. I fished them for years where my amateur partner even started off with a crankbait on the rod. Maybe so, but I don't remember it. Man. I guess that's good because guys like me, I own 1,000. I literally own, I'd maybe try to get a picture before I do this video of some more baits. I got boxes full of baits. I got cardboard boxes, baits hanging on them. I got buckets with crankbaits. Too many. It's an addictive thing, I know. Y'all, let me know what you're thinking. Boy, it got dark all of a sudden underneath this bluff. There, it's better. Underneath this old bluff. Look at that thing. It got dark. Sorry about that. I don't look at this. You need to just turn this so you don't even see it. See, now I don't see it. Except I wouldn't have thought it was dark. Let me know what y'all think about crankbait. Plug fishing. We used to call them plugs. Alphabet plugs. How you catch them? I'm plugging. Those days are gone, ain't they? I am going to, very likely, my next cast, the next spot I'm going to go to is going to be the square bill crankbait. I'm going to throw a square bill crankbait at least half the cast I make the rest of the day. I've only had one bite on a buzzbait. Might have been a good one. Let me know what you think. Seriously. Solar bat, link in the description. Yeah, I got it. It's just nice and dark underneath this bluff. I'd like to hear from y'all. I'm going to go try to find some more fish. I got something I found so far. If I fish next week, these are good ones. Maybe not enough of them. Whatever. God bless you guys. I'm going to go throw a crankbait.